back to another video. My name is Carol and I'm a wedding officiant in Prince George, British Columbia. Today we're going to talk about some really creative alternatives to maybe host in your ceremony. When we talk about customizing a ceremony, a lot of people think it's about the words or about the vows or about those types of things. But there's lots of really cool, funky things that you can do to really make your ceremony your own. So if you have a minute, sit down, relax, and let's get into it. So I came across this idea on a blog I was reading. So it's not an original idea for me, but I thought it was kind of cool and kind of sets a theme. So have you ever heard of beer blending? So, have you ever been to one of those ceremonies where they do the sand ceremonies? I've done lots of sand ceremonies and they're very beautiful. You can incorporate the bride and the groom, and if there's children within the family, you can incorporate the children too. Wouldn't recommend you incorporate children in a beer blending, but why not? If that's who you are, if that's the genre of your life, if that is important to you, is some of these specialty beers, why not bring it in and add it to the personality of the ceremony? So instead of doing a sand ceremony, you can do a beer blending ceremony where he takes his favorite hops, she takes her favorite hops, you pour them together, and why not? You can even pick it up, do the whole arm wrap thing and take a sip, right? Just to really be able to bring in some of those things that are really important to you. Another really creative idea, and it's along the same theme, because I'm chunking these ideas into themes here, is how about a pre-ceremony cocktail hour? Now, I have a little caveat with this, because if you're doing a sneak a peek ceremony or anything like that, it is very important for both the bride and the groom and their specific attendants to be sober during the ceremony. You cannot legally form a binding contract when you're under the influence of alcohol. But there's no reason why you couldn't provide a couple of cocktails and a couple of appies for your friends and family as they show up. Have them show up half an hour early and do a little cocktail hour. Or, if you do your wedding a little bit later in the afternoon, you could do a cocktail hour, you could do the ceremony, and then if you're not really interested in the whole big gamut of pictures, the whole 4-hour thing, you can just take off for 45 minutes, let the party proceed without you, and when you return back, there you are. You're right at your reception. You're ready to go. So I really kind of like that idea, and it keeps everybody in one place. Here's another creative idea along the same lines, and this could be, you have to think about how it would be set up, whether you'd want just the bride and groom or whether you wanted to incorporate the entire audience to your wedding. And that is to finish the ceremony with a toast. Now, this is really good, especially for those couples that maybe are having a very intimate reception or maybe no reception at all. To offer your guests the opportunity to have a toast to you at the end of the ceremony might be a really good kind of opportunity, again, especially for those that aren't considering even having a reception. Now, on to a little bit of a different theme. I want to talk to you about the processional. So what is the processional? So at the beginning of the wedding, you usually have the officiant, that's me, come down the aisle. And quite often that officiant might make a couple of little remarks. Please turn off your cameras. Please turn off your cell phones. Those kinds of things. So the procession is the action of the bride and the groom and the groomsmen and the bridesmaids and the parents, if they're included, walking down the aisle, you know, to "Here Comes the Bride," da, 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 right? And that's old school, I know, I get it. um, so there's lots of ways that you can format your processional. That's a really nice thing about today's modern times, is when I got married, it was your father has to walk you down the aisle. My parents didn't really say that, but I felt that way. But it's not like that anymore. It's so cool. So you can have the bridesmaids and the groomsmen walk down together. You can have everybody walk you down the aisle. And if the aisle's not wide enough, they can just kind of in a very relaxed manner, just mill about you, and make sure that they escort you to where you need to be. It doesn't have to be your dad that walks you down the aisle. It could be your dad and your brother and your uncle and your grandfather and whoever you want. Again, if the aisle isn't wide enough, they can walk ahead of you, they can walk behind you, they can walk in a circle around you. It's all good. There are no rules to this anymore. You know, some brides and grooms, they don't want to walk down the aisle. The whole idea of having all these eyes staring at them really kind of creeps them out. So why not come out, intermingle with your guests as they arrive, and then closer to the time we get the groomsmen to start seating the guests, and the bride and the groom just arrive at the front. Or if you don't want to mingle with your guests, just arrive. No fanfare, no walking down the aisle, no anything. Just show up, right? That's really good too if you don't want to have bridesmaids and groomsmen. As long as there's somebody there that's willing to participate as a witness for you, which is essentially what bridesmaids and groomsmen are. They're witnesses to the legality and your willingness to participate in the ceremony. Last idea for processional. If you don't want that whole fanfare up there, but you do want a bridesmaid or a groomsman or a couple, ask them to sit down. They don't have to be standing up front beside you while you're actually having the wedding ceremony performed, while you're doing your vows. They don't actually have to be there. Again, as long as you have someone that will stand up as a witness for you, they are more than welcome to sit down and enjoy watching the ceremony unfold in front of them. So that's another option for you. So I think it's so great these days that there's just, you know, there's no cut and dry way that you have to do anything other than being sober and other than showing up and having a clear intention and being able to sign your name. Those are basically the only rules. Everything else is fair game. So I hope I gave you some fun ideas here. Some creative additions to your wedding with the beer blending and the pre-ceremony cocktail hour and the toast afterwards, and a couple of different ideas for your processional. So if you would like to contract me to perform your wedding ceremony or provide you with some premarital counseling, please find me at princegeorgeweddingofficiant.ca. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye.